I feel for all the right reasons, not about money or fame or just the kind of this collective desire to collaborate and I make something that's both beautiful and chaotic. How's that?
Oh, that's really beautiful and profound.
I just made that up. No, but seriously, yeah, I'm blessed. It turned into something I think some people find really important, including myself. And we're not done yet. I think this new thing, what new album or albums that we're working on, I think is going to be really special.
And with so many guest artists involved, how do you decide who fits in each song?
Who sings each song?
No, with so many guest artists involved in your family, how do you decide who fits each song?
I don't know. It's luck, it's intuition. When Michael and I make the music, something just tells me in my head, this might be good for this person. Like this might be good for Ashton or for Wayne or for Whitney or for Julian, for any singer or new singers. And for the most part, it's worked out. A couple of people, uh, you know, I'm not going to say everybody I've asked has agreed to do it, which I understand. Uh, it's just I don't know. I follow my instinct, but my this little voice in my head, and it seems to happen. It's happened more than it hasn't happened, I guess is the best way to put it.
And what does your creative process look like? Do your songs start with riffs, atmospheres, lyrics, or does it depend on the collaborator?
It, every singer writes their own lyrics. They write their own melodies. They do everything. It usually will just start from an idea that I have either when I pick up my guitar, I have lots of guitar pedals. They're all around the studio here. And it just starts like from a sound or a little chord progression, sometimes guitar, sometimes bass. And I'll bring it in and I'll have like a little demo, just like a little drum machine loop or, uh, something, or sometimes not even that. And I'll play it to Michael and we'll just start working on it. And then it'll get to a point, and that's where I start hearing a singer's voice. Usually I'll kind of in my head go male or female voice, and then if it's male, what about this person? Let me ask. I love the idea of finding new people, but I also love working with artists that we've worked with before. It's become like I mean, Ashton has done 5 songs with us. I think Wayne has done 4. Uh, you know, so yeah, it just starts usually from a sound, and then we'll build up a piece of music. And it to me, it's not really a song until we send it to a singer and they put their words and their melody to it, and then suddenly that song has a name, and that piece of music has a name, and to me, then it's a song. Uh, in the past, I've sent them. Sometimes I'll send them the artwork that we're thinking of for the album, or I'll send them the title. Like I'm thinking of calling the album, uh, you know, Dancing with Angels. I think for that we actually had Marin's painting, but the storm before the calm, and I've kind of I'll give them a little idea, and they can either take as much of that concept or as little as they want. And I've never told the singers what they have to write about. I think we've just been really fortunate uh, that I think everybody comes part of Beauty and Chaos to me are are great songwriters. They write to words have always been really important to me. That's why every album has the lyrics. So no one's no one's really writing rock and roll party lyrics or something that's just on the surface. I think they write deep lyrics that I think kind of resonate with people who do like Beauty and Chaos. That it's like they can find something to hold on into the word in the words.
As you mentioned before, you've worked with iconic voices like Aston Nitten, Whitney Tay, Leo Lugansky. What collaboration has surprised you the most?
That's hard to say. I think every time it surprises me because I send out a piece of music, uh, and then it's I think I've described in the past like Christmas Day, I get an email back, bing, you know, you got mail, like really dating myself, but it comes back and uh, that the joy of pressing play and hearing what this soundscape or musical journey or something that we sent to a singer, what it inspired them to do. So I can't really say one or the other. That surprised me. Everyone surprised me because I go into it with no real idea what's going to come back. I think that's something that's really exciting. Some of the things that uh, we do, it's something that we started and we kind of continue it. After each album, we've followed it up with a remix album or re-envision. So we'll take the tracks and we'll either send to a different producer or a mixer, an artist, a DJ or something, and kind of go, here's all these pieces, throw them on the floor, put them back together how you hear it. Those are the ones that are really I think some of those are surprising, like when Wayne Hussey from the Mission came back with the piano version to The Long Goodbye. I mean, it's like almost cried when I heard that. It was just so beautiful. It's like the idea of them rearranging what we've done and kind of doing how someone else hears it. Because, I mean, Michael and I spend so much time in the studio with it. I think one point I was sitting there with my calculator, kind of coming up. I go, just about how many hours we spent on making a record, and it's somewhere around 1,000 to 1,200 hours. Uh, from the conception to mastering it, and that's not all the side stuff, the art, the all that stuff. This is just me and him in the physical studio. Uh, so you get close to something, and it's like you get really just laser focused on it. So I've always found the remix idea after really kind of liberating, and just I think it's like turning over the keys to the car and going, hey, you do what you want with it. And there's been some that are really, really great versions
And is there any artist you still dream of collaborating with?
that I'd love to collaborate with. God, I mean, that list
Yes.
could go on. Every time I say that, I think people pick it up, and I'll always mention Robert from The Cure. Doesn't mean he's going to do it. I'll continue to ask him, but I don't want people to go, oh, Robert's going to be on the next Beauty and Chaos record. Maybe one day he will, if I wear him down enough.
I'm sure he
But
will.
yeah, I don't know. But I always mention Richard Butler from the Psychedelic Furs. I've always thought he has such a unique voice. I'd love to work with PJ Harvey. I have zero contact or anything with her. I just think she's pretty amazing. I always thought working with Bjork, working with Kevin Shields and My Bloody Valentine. I mean, there's a lot of people I'd love to work with. But when we did the first record, that was the record that kind of had the big names, or I mean, and I use that term loosely because I think being in this business as long as I have, fame doesn't always equal talent, and talent unfortunately doesn't equal fame. But for a first album, which was a double album, I mean, we had it that's a lot of people that were in my record collection. Besides, I know I keep mentioning Wayne from the Mission, but we had Simon Gallup from The Cure, who I think's the best bass player in the world. We had uh, iced tea, which is bizarre, but we infused iced tea in one of our songs. We had my longtime dear friend Johnny from Human Drama. We had Al from Ministry. We had Robin Zander from Cheap Trick. We had, I know I'm forgetting people, Michael Anthony from Van Halen. I mean, a lot of those people you would never think would be on the same record together. It's like, how the fuck do you get uh, Robin Zander and Wayne Hussey or Ice-T in any of them? But it worked. Uh, but there was always that danger of running out of big names. Uh, but the beautiful thing that happened, and it probably started with doing the first song with Ashton, who, not that he wasn't known, but I mean, he's not a household name like, Robin from Cheap Trick, but I mean, Storm was a song that really set, I think, Beauty and Chaos on a path that I knew we can continue this. So there was that idea of finding talented, but maybe not super popular singers that I think was really important, because then we get their fan base. And I always say, every singer that's part of Beauty and Chaos, please listen to their category, their catalog. I mean, if you like a song that Whitney Ty did, Whitney's got a fantastic catalog of music. Cat from Holy Wars, I mean, that band is fantastic. you know, Curse Mackey, go down Curse's catalog, go down Evie Vine, all those people that have put their voices and words and talent into this have a lot of stuff on their own too. So I think Beauty and Chaos has turned into a really great vehicle, I think, for people to discover maybe some music and singers and stuff that you may not have heard about, because there's so much music that comes out now. People are just inundated. I mean, what I read, like Spotify, there's like 20, 2,000, 2,500 new songs a day. That's insane. No one, the bandwidth and people's attention span is shit nowadays, much less. So I think Beauty and Chaos is a good way to find some gems, because we've been blessed with a lot of them.
I discovered Whitney Tay thanks to your music.
Oh, yeah, Whitney's fantastic. I mean, she should be popular. She should be famous. And we've had you know, I think like half of the artists on our album are female singers. I do love bands with female singers. I love Slow Dive. I think Rachel has a great voice. All About Eve, Cocteau Twins. I mean, I think Elizabeth Fraser is wonderful. She would certainly be on my list of artists I want to work with. So there's, Evie Vine, who I was introduced through Wayne from The Mission. Evie's wonderful, so talented. I wish I can get her to do another song. Uh, it's just, but yeah, and their fan base, that likes them, kind of goes into Beauty and Chaos, and see, I know every song isn't for everybody, but I think we've done a really good job of having an album that could have, six, seven, eight different singers on it, and it not sounding uh, just like a mix-up. I think our records do sound cohesive. Like you put it on, and it sounds like these songs go together, even though each voice is a different voice. And I don't know how we do that, but it happens. So sometimes I just don't question it. It's like it works. So sometimes when, you have a divine intervention or luck or something catches fire, you just go with it.
Beauty and Chaos has a refined cinematic gothic aesthetic. Where does that visual vision come from?
I I like to think it comes from, I think when you pull the lyrics and the singers out of our music, I think it's very cinematic, like you say. Like I can see it being the underscore for a movie. And I think that's why singers find it, at least I hope so, easy to put words to it, because they get a piece of music, and I think I think it turns visual for them, and I think the words come out easy. Like the song, the music kind of guides them down this path. Where does it come from? I think Michael and I work together really well because we're sound oriented. Like that first record, I was determined that every sound was made from the guitar. I mean, there's things that sound like keyboards and strings and cellos, and it's all like we manipulate the electric guitar with bows and beat on it and put drills and ebows. And it's like, I think we're both a bit kind of mad scientists when it comes to the sound. And I think that just translates. And, you know, I've really gotten into the idea, since we aren't a band on stage, the idea of having doing videos. I mean, I think this one that comes out Wednesday is our 30th video, and that's pretty crazy. But I enjoy doing it. I enjoy trying to find a way to tell the story of the song, or to not just to add a visual element to it. I mean, not everyone has a story. Uh, God's Gonna Cut You Down certainly has a storyline that's run through it. This new one, Joe Strummer's Get Down Moses, not so much a storyline, but a cool visual. So it's just something I enjoy doing, and have didn't really have that opportunity in other bands I was in. You know, when you're in the band, there's either a leader or it's five people trying to make it a democracy, and everybody has their input. Kind of in this, uh, I kind of get to make the decision at the end. It's not like I want to be, oh, I'm power hungry, but I think I don't know. I love that everyone trusts me that's part of this to kind of create that vision.
And how do you see the current scene in the world? The current goth scene in the world.
The current what? I'm sorry?
Goth scene.
The goth scene.
Yes.
I think there's a resurgence, but I don't think it ever went away, you know? I know they don't consider Beauty and Chaos a goth band. We certainly have those elements. I mean, I grew up, you know, I went from glam to punk to goth, as far as like my journey in music, you know, after watching David Bowie, T-Rex, Slade, Alice Cooper, the New York Dolls. That's what kind of got me wanting to play guitar. And then punk rock, the Clash, the Sex Pistols, the Heartbreakers showed me I could, because it was easier as a kid, just pick, you know. And then I think I really ended up falling in love with the visuals and the lyrics of goth stuff, you know, going back to the first Sisters record, then, you know, Disintegration, Pornography. I mean, those are seminal Cure records to me, and God's Own Medicine by The Mission. You know, I think though, like, you go to a dance club now, and you'll see 20 something year olds, and they're dancing to First, Last, and Always, or they're dancing to Fascination Street, and you sit there and you start going, oh, fuck, those songs are almost 40 years old. Uh, but there are new bands. I think people pick up that element, you know, and I think it has genres cross. I think at some point somebody described us as goth gays. And I went, that's clever. I mean, we do have those elements of some of the 90s shoegaze, just My Bloody Valentine, just kind of abrasiveness, but then some of the beauty in darkness and minor key elements of like the not typical, just the seminal goth bands. But I think the scene's healthy. I mean, when you know, I'm fortunate to have come from the band Human Drama, and we go to Mexico City, and that's like one place in the world that Human Drama is absolutely famous. And it's kind of wonderful to watch people singing the lyrics, and kind of uh, just being touched by it. And I think that that's what goth does. I think, it is certainly a fashion. You and I would put on black eyeliner and everything and dress up. But there is those there is those lyrics. I think that's always the kind of common denominator in most gothic or dark wave music. That it's usually, I think, most people that listen to that try connect with the lyrics, whether it's what the singer is actually singing about, but they're open ended to where you can latch on to it and kind of it touches your soul in a way that I know sure as shit doesn't happen with today's pop music or whatever the hell you call today's music. And I mean, it says a lot about the state of today's music when The Cure or Depeche Mode will go on tour and pack a stadium, that people my age bring their kids to, as opposed to going to a Taylor Swift concert or something. You just sit there and that's not going, there's not going to be any longevity there. I don't know in music if we are going to have bands with longevity anymore. It was kind of, I always, I liked Oasis. I thought they kind of gave rock and roll kind of a kick in the ass, kind of the same way punk rock did. And to see that band, you know, come back after, the two brothers splitting and still seeing people go to the shows does give hope. But I don't know if there's going to be very many bands like the way you and I may talk about The Cure or the Sisters of Mercy or Bauhaus or the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, going even back, or T-Rex, if we're going to be looking at any music that's out today and talking about them in 10 years, much less 20, probably won't be talking about them in 2 years. And I think that's kind of sad, that I feel I grew up in the best time of music, and I, I'm really disgusted in the way music is today. But I know your question was about goth. I think the scene is healthy. I think those bands, even with the nod, I mean, there's a lot of bands that come out and they sound like the Sisters or they sound like Bauhaus, but I mean, at least they're cutting their teeth on something that's classic and was real. So there.
And what elements did you feel needed to be expressed visually in your new music video for God's Gonna Cut You Down that couldn't be conveyed with the music alone?
That song has been, I think that song's from the early 1900s. I mean, Elvis Presley covered it, is under the title of Run On. Moby had a hit with it. Marilyn Manson covered it. To me, the seminal version of that song is Johnny Cash, when he sings it. I don't know, I I just had this. I describe it as a calling. I have a Christian faith, and but I never preached to anybody. I just looked at whatever I believe in, you believe in, whatever God, whatever spiritual being, higher power, whatever anyone believes in. Um, I think that she, entity is looking down at the earth today, the way people treat the way people treat animals, the way people treat children, uh, the way we treat the earth, all those things. Something just told me, and not comparing myself in any way to the God I believe in, but looking down, just going, what a fucking mess we've made of this, something beautiful. Uh, and that was I, in the video, there's that scene, the chessboard scene, and the idea of it being wiped clean. But I think at the end, not to get too heavy in it, to me, the message at the end is where the one chess piece, the king is standing, the white king, and uh, it's just I think we all hope that good wins over evil at the end of the day. And I don't mean evil. I know I grew up and I was in, like some metal bands, some, stuff like that. And people wear the upside down crosses and it's evil and it's heavy. I think a lot of that is just a visual thing. But at the end of the day, when pure evil versus pure good, I think we all want good to win. And I think that's really the message that was I wanted to bring forth in that song because again, I think religion, politics, all that stuff is so contentious nowadays that families fight over it, friends break up over it, and it's horrible. And I think music should be an escapism. I know I don't want to go to a concert and have somebody on stage with a microphone preach to me, tell me what God I should believe in, what candidate I should vote for. It's like I went there to hear the music and to kind of, if I want that, I can turn on the TV. I can turn on anything and just get blasted with it. So I was really careful not to be preachy in that. So it's really just a subtle thing that I don't think anybody's going to disagree with. And, since I sang it, I felt I could speak as me for it. No other video would I ever put words in an artist's mouth or have their, change their vision of it. But that's really it. It's simple, and hopefully everyone takes it in the spirit that it was meant in. I think anybody with a similar faith as mine will take it a little bit different than someone who doesn't, but that's really okay. At the end of the day, you know, I think we just all want to be happy. And, I know being a parent, I want my children to grow up in a world, uh, you know, a better world than what I see outside right now.
And these two new tracks, God's Gonna Cut You Down and Get Down Moses, carry very different energies. What led you to release them as an EP?
We were Michael and I were in the studio and just writing. I was reaching out to some new singers, and it's sometimes it's getting the flow, how to work with someone new. Uh, I guess at the end of the day, I felt what's going to become our next record was just taking a little bit longer than I wanted, and half of that's on me. I think as I get older, I have less and less patience, and I wanted it to happen quicker. But that's okay. I mean, things that are good or great, which I hope I strive for, take time. And I think we were just in the studio so much with music and me not hearing the music become a song that I came to Michael and kind of said, "Hey, I'm going a little crazy in the studio with more music, more music, more music, and not really seeing what this album was going to be like, not hearing the first singer open their mouth on it and go, okay, it's this. It starts making me feel like we're getting closer to finishing. And so I just said, I want to do a couple of songs that we do like the old school way, that we do them over a couple of nights. Uh, something, something told me. I don't know if it was a God wink, if it was a dream, if it was a spiritual calling or something. I just felt those two songs lyrically were right at this time. And I felt just as much that I'm not really a singer. And believe me, to sit and open my mouth on it after having great singers, Leo, Julian, Ashton, Wayne, every um, William Faith, all those guy singers on our records that are true frontmen, and I'm gonna go, okay, I'm not really a singer, but it was important. I wanted to say these words, and with it just being Michael and I in the studio, we were able to finish those in like 5 or 6 nights. And to me, we had something finished And that was what was important. It was the right songs. I thought it was the right time to put it out. And since we've gone back in the studio to continue working on this album, I feel there's less pressure. I feel it kind of cleaned the plate for me. Like, okay, we have these songs out. People are hearing something from us. Now I felt I could breathe a little bit and focus on finishing these songs and also writing some new music because there's like a five, six, seven singers that have said they want to be part of this album that I'm trying to get music to. So it was kind of placeholder is the wrong word because these two songs are important to me. It just kind of gave me a reason to pause, do that, and now I think the past month in the studio, Michael and I have it's been great. I'm not manic, and I think we're on to several more new songs that I think are going to be really good. So that's why I did it now. It made sense to me, and I hopefully to other people.
And you are about to release a new music video for Get Down Moses. What can you tell us about this new work?
It's we shot these two videos. We shot God's Gonna Cut You Down, which if anybody's seen it, is pretty heavy. It's dark. It's got an underlying, like I was explaining, it does have a underlying message. The next day we shot Get Down Moses, which is pretty different for us. I loved the Clash, and I loved the way they infuse like reggae and dub into it. I always loved to stretch Beauty and Chaos to where the idea of going if you owned a record store and you were holding our albums and you're going, well, what section do I put this in? Do I put it in goth or put it in alternative? Do I put it in I love the idea that we don't have this one label on it, that we can kind of go in and out of styles or not fuse them together. Uh, I thought lyrically, I love Joe Strummer's words. I think even in the Clash, when they were heavier in punk rock, he always had a way of challenging authority in calling out injustice. And I just thought the lyrics to this song, when you hear about the Catholic Church and priests and sexually abusing altar boys and stuff like that, that as a person of faith, that I mean, you grew up going, hey, we should trust priests, we should trust teachers, we should trust uh, policemen, we should trust, you know, and then to break that trust, I thought lyrically he kind of attacks that. He attacks, you know, just the way social injustice, and there was a lot of things that fit today. The same reason we did we did Children of the Revolution and Open Your Eyes. I thought all these are older songs, but if you read the words, it's like they could have been written yesterday, and that's what attracted me to that song. And no storyline in the video. We just went in. We kind of had fun with it, uh, but in no way is it meant to lessen what I think the importance of Strummer's lyrics are to that. So it was two videos shot within 24 hours of each other and very different. But yeah, I'm happy with it. I hate to say a fun video, but yeah, there's it's just lighthearted compared to God's Gonna Cut You Down. And I do love the idea of us kind of swinging back and forth. Like if we do one video that's really dark and smoke and gothic, I love that the next one goes this side. And I think we've done that pretty successfully. So I take it you haven't got to see it yet, right?
Sorry?
You didn't get a chance to watch the video yet?
I watch it. I watch it.
Oh.
I'm
So
very gossip. I'm very gossip. Sorry.
it's uh it's different than God's gonna cut you down. is really kind of it's got some elements. It has horns in it, and I think people are going to kind of be a little surprised, but it's still us, you know. I love not being put into just this little small window. I do think sometimes Gothic bands, to jump back to the other question, uh, kind of get put into this thing of not being able to branch out even a little bit. I mean, I think The Cure have done it. They go from, you know, Disintegration to doing a song like Friday I'm in Love or Hot, Hot, Hot. So they swing that. I think The Mission have kind of done it, but bands like Bauhaus, the Sisters of Mercy, they're really kind of stuck into this certain formula. And I love kind of not having a formula. I love for us that whatever happens just happens. I mean, you're not going to hear a disco song from us, and you're not going to hear a true pop song from us. But I think we've kind of covered some ground, and it's still beauty and chaos, you know, which I think always go. I think the name, even though I didn't realize it in the beginning, is fitting. I think we find beauty and we find chaos in different things, and how you mix it up, what comes out, if it has elements of both of those in it's still right for us.
And what can we expect from Beauty in Chaos in the coming year?
I'm hoping this new record comes out no later than summer 2026. I'm really shooting for April or May. It was going to be, we hit that point of 8 songs, which I still think in terms of vinyl, like right or wrong, I can't think in terms of streaming and all that bullshit today. I still think in terms of vinyl. So to me, 44 minutes of music is front and back of a vinyl. We kind of crossed that point of going, okay, now these songs won't fit on one vinyl. So I went, okay, we can make this a double record. But I think that impatience thing starts coming in. And I think we will break it up. Uh, the same girl, Marin, that did Dancing with Angels, painted some cover ideas that, you know, are fitting for what we're doing here. And there are two covers that fit together. So in my head, I started going, well, maybe we'll do this something as part one and part two. So that's where I'm at right now. To answer your question, hopefully the new record by April, May the latest, whatever it's going to be titled, part one, and then hopefully by the end of 2026, part two, which will include some videos and always have that question of going, are you ever going to play live? I think maybe after doing these two records or this one collective record that's connected, maybe we stop a little bit and focus on what it would take to actually do some live shows. Because if we keep putting a record out, start going right back in the studio, I'll never focus on who and how to do this live. And I sure would like to see Beauty and Chaos on stage uh, before when whatever stops. I mean, things do come to an end. I'm not ready to stop, but I sure like to put it on stage.
We hope you all have too many more years of music
Yeah, it's,
with
I
Beauty in
mean,
Chaos.
I've sat down and I've talked to some close friends and I've talked to my wife and a bit to Michael going, maybe this is the last big album, you know? Not, but they always go, you're not going to stop. I'm going, no, not stop, but maybe the idea of doing like we just did with this EP, but pressing it either on 45s or short run CDs, because I hate the idea of just digital. It's just so foreign. It hurts my soul to think of doing something and not really having a cover and not having it something you can hold in your hand. I think that's a big problem of music today. People, oh, you just stream it, and they have this idea. It really devalues people's talents in time and where they just think music is just free. Oh, it's on the computer. It's that's a different topic, but maybe this is the last big concept, and then from that is shorter little bursts of here's two or three songs that go together comes out because people's attention span is so short nowadays. I mean, the idea of giving someone 14 songs to digest, uh, I, some of the older people, that follow Beauty and Chaos, I think have that mentality. They will put an album on and listen to it top to bottom. I mean, I always go back to Disintegration because I think that is one of the most complete albums top to bottom. And I don't think you put that record on and go, "Oh, I'm just going to put on, you know, this song. I'm just going to listen to Fascination Street. I'm going to move the needle and put it there." And I think you listen to it as a complete piece of work. At least I know that's what the band felt. To me, there's always something to be said about which song goes into the next song, into the next song. There's a feel that I think most artists want, and so that's why I always run into the problem of just doing something just short. But it takes a lot of time, and I don't know if people listen to music that way, which is sad. I'll never bend to today's whim. I always get told, oh, you need to write, your songs are too long. You need to write a 3-minute song. And that part of me just goes, well, fuck that. We're going to go and write a song that no one's even singing 3 minutes in the song. Now it's a 9-minute song. How's that for you? Which we do have. I think I have the song that's the end of this album, and it's almost 8 minutes. But it works, it moves, and to me, again, thinking in the terms of album, I think that is the way I want to hear the record end. So,
And if you could summarize the project, your family, in one sentence for someone who has never heard it, what would it be?
one person's beauty is another person's chaos, and one person's chaos is another person's beauty.
Oh,
So be open-minded, and yeah, that's not one sentence, but listen to the words. That's what I say. Listen to the words. That's not one sentence either. I what I really would love anybody is to give one of our records one uninterrupted listen. That means put it on. Like when I was a kid, I would put a record on, and I know people have more distractions now. People listen to music a lot in the background. It's like I'm online, I'm on eBay, I'm on YouTube, but the music's playing. I'm emailing or texting a friend. I'm TV's on. It's like fuck. When I used to sit in my room as a kid, it was that's all I heard every element. And sometimes you put a record back on, you hear something you didn't hear the first time. I think music has to stop being background. It should be front and center. So that's why I'd love if someone would just listen in any music, listen to it uninterrupted.
and do you have any message you would like to give to your fans and to people who will be watching this?
If I if again, if you hear something in our music, if you hear a voice that that moves you, please look into that singer. Uh, they have a lot. They have each of these people that come into this are doing it again for the right reason. Uh, they have a body of work that I think you will discover something worth listening to. Uh, and if you hear that and you like it, buy their record, buy their music. I'm blessed that I have a job. I don't need to do this to support my family. There's a lot of musicians that do that. This is their life. This is buying their record gets them from one city to the next to play a show. Uh, you know, if this world turns into AI music or just manufactured pop stars, there's never going to be another Cure, Depeche Mode, Beatles, Rolling Stones. There's not going to be another Elvis. There's not going to be that. It's just going to be manufactured bullshit that has no heart and soul, and that's really sad. Uh, People need music. I think people need music more than they uh, actually think they need music, and support it. Support it when you can.